Is this potentially the last time we'll see Serena? Is there more to him than actually meets the eye? Is there a lot more with this Dragon Lacrima, and can we actually put down this whole Yuri Drea, like, is him for once and for all? Well, let's talk about that now in this discussion of Fairy Tail. So, a crazy last chapter that we had from Fairy Tail, and a lot of people, you know, a little bit mixed on it, saying like, oh my god, I can't believe that Serena just got taken out by like Actologia's bullshit, just got one shot. Well, we got some stuff to talk about that in this chapter about that, because honestly, if you think like, oh, he just got killed off and he just got one shot just like that, then you're just wrong. Honestly, how many characters have we seen that being like one shot that actually have managed to get up, especially for like something as big as this? I don't think this is the end of Serena as we speak. I actually think he will survive this and he will come back, and we'll be finding out a lot more about him, and especially the talking about him being in fact a dragon god slayer. He was probably the closest person out of everyone to even take down Acnologia at the current time. And well, now, next to that and Natsu's Dragon King Fire Mode, like, that's the only things that was possible to take down Acnologia at this point. But to actually talk more about exactly what powers that he has and how potential, like, how far, like, God Serena can go, we need to actually talk about these powers that he have. And we know that he had 8 Lacrima inside of him altogether. Now, you think that's a little bit weird, saying, like, you know, we've only had 7 Dragon Slayers out of there, and then there was an 8th element added into there, which we saw was the Cavern Dragon Slayer, which basically is Earth. Then as well, he had the Gale Dragon Slayer, which I believe, like, all of these are just higher versions of Dragon Slayer magic. Like, you have the Gale, which is obviously the Sky Dragon Slayer. You got Neptune, which is a Water Dragon Slayer, which is very interesting since we have not seen a Water Dragon Slayer at all in series, or I believe any Water Dragons at all during the Grand Magic Games, during the Dragon War even. Purgatory, I think, is a little bit obvious. I think that is actually Shadow Dragon Slayer. I think that's just a higher level of other. Like, basically, Serena has just higher level things, and that's thinking, like, okay, so what are these other ones that we've had if we named off already Cavern, Gale, Neptune, Purgatory? There's obviously a couple more left that we've seen. Well, I'm guessing that what Serena's, like, actual thing is representing, like, the entire, like, all the elements of life. Now, what are these other elements that we already know? Well, I think we can actually rub off like fire if that was being like Inferno Dragon Slayer or something like that. But that's a little bit interesting. So we've already seen the highest form of fire, which is pretty much what the Fire Dragon King himself, Igneel, could do. But I do say that this is one of the things that he actually has. Lightning is another possible question as well, since actually that could lead into the whole Yuri Drea thing. This might be actually one of the reasons why he even took the Lacrima in the first place, because you remember from Fairy Tail Zero, this is a little bit of spoiler as well, Yuri learns actual magic from Zeref, and we get to see that one of the things that he actually chose is like lightning magic because he wanted it very flashy. And from what we've seen of like exactly what he's been so far, he's been kind of very flashy, showing off, and especially what's the way to act very slashy and really cool looking to everyone by showing off a bunch of dominant magic power, like being able to control the earth, darkness, water, wind, all these kinds of magic. Lightning just wasn't enough, but he just thought it was the flashiest at the time. So I think that's definitely one as well. We could include that as well. So that's definitely right there. We've already got 6 of them so far. With Lightning, I don't know what he would actually name them, since they seem to be all different names of higher levels. So maybe Voltage Dragon Slayer. Now that we have Purgatory on there, then it's obviously the other selection would be honestly Light. Whether or not this would just be like Heaven Dragon Slayer, which would be a pretty cool fucking name or something like that. Like that, I think that would be something that he'd definitely have as well. Because so far we've gone like through all the elements, you know, Earth, Wind, Water, Fire, you know, Lightning, like, you know, working throughout all of them. The question is though, this is the issue though, what about Steel and Poison? He only has like 8 ones from what we know so far, and if we're counting up all of these elements all together, then wouldn't that technically mean that we have way more than 8 originally? Because we're counting 9 if we're counting Earth, Wind, Water, Fire, Shadow, Light, Lightning, Steel, and Poison. Now, I'm guessing what that comes to this is actually that maybe like one of them is actually going to be omitted from this, because I believe the one that's probably going to be omitted from this entire list altogether is a very big mix-up between whether or not which one like matters more, Steel or Poison. I think honestly Poison is going to be the one that's going to be written off, like although people may be questioning about that, since Steel is technically kind of, I guess you could count as a like style. I mean, if you've ever seen Avatar before, it kind of went down the same build, and I'm kind of going that with a lot on this list as well. Like, but poison is not like something that's created from the actual earth itself or something that's needed to sustain life. Poison is something that's like kind of come from like animals themselves or creatures themselves. Like, mainly it isn't very man-made kind of thing. This is just something that's produced out of the body or something like that, or a defense mechanism. So I honestly don't think poison would be on that list, and I always felt like poison, out of all of them, out of all the elements, it was a very strange one, because it was the one out of them that really didn't add up to like the elemental line on there. Unless, like, Hiro Mashima's playing a lot of Pokemon, then I guess we could expect a Fairy Dragon Slayer as well. And a lot of people have been wondering, what exactly is this hybrid theory that they were talking about as well when we were talking about God Serena? Hybrid theory expresses a philosophical theory formed by evaluating the scientific evidence of natural selection and speciation, commonly called evolution, as well as evidence from the Big Bang and abiogenesis, and comparing the cumulative evidence from the multiple theories of evolution versus the basic creationist accounts that have been accepted by the world's major religions. While not necessarily in agreement with every assertion by religious advocates regarding their interpretation of the creation account, hybrid theory differentiates between fact, theory, and speculation in the scientific arguments that evolution. Basically what they're saying is, like, there are some people that are stronger than other, like natural selection and speciation, like evolution, saying like some people will pretty much just be born integrated. Like, if you've ever seen the series known as Terra from Mars, there is a great example as that, as someone that is actually born from like the atom, like sort of like one of the ancient race of human that was stronger, faster, better, like all that kind of things. And that's where they're kind of going with the character of like Serena right now. Basically, through a nutshell, if you didn't understand all that scientific thing, it just means that, like, Serena is a very special kind of human being, that he was able to take all this lacrima in and actually culminate into something strong. But then as well, you go and talk about, what about the whole Yuri Drea theory like that? He already had, like, magic. Why would he need, like, all this lacrima? Maybe for the fact that he just wanted to get stronger. Like, maybe he thought he'd be able to take it all flashy. Maybe after the whole fighting of his wife, he just wanted to get stronger and stronger and stronger, and that just got too much until it started, like, making him go crazy. I mean, that could be hints at what we already saw in the last chapter when you saw like his eyes starting going black, and like that could just be like an anime manga thing that he's doing, but it definitely showed like his eyes starting going dark. Maybe that's because like all the lacrima are like cultivating in his body and like the magic's just reacting. Like that could be an actual theory out there. I've seen a lot of people already suggest that already from like what we've seen from God Serena. And not to mention as well, we've seen stuff in like Terra from Mars and stuff like that. When someone takes a hit like that, even when it comes from someone as powerful as Acnologia, I think he could still get back up on there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, maybe on one of the teams, because don't forget, there is stuff known as healing magic in Fairy Tail. You know, we've seen some injuries from time to time, although that isn't as fierce as what, like, Igneel went through. It's still a very big damaging blow that Serena had against Acnologia, but even still, though, if you talk about that, maybe August knows a healing magic. Like, he's known for, like, he's a very aged and wise person, so he probably must know maybe a sort of kind of healing magic, or maybe someone might come around, or they take him around and get healed. Like, so I feel like that. Either that, or he could just stand up. Maybe that's just how much of the monster he is. Maybe, like, some of the lacrima actually heals him. We don't know. Like, that's the thing what we know about the artificial. It's very weird to talk, because there's a lot of things you can go about the second generations of Dragon Slayers, since, like, obviously, we know that Serena wasn't trained by a dragon at this moment, and it seems like from what they've been saying, they never had that, and that he's just an artificial monster, and that's pretty much what they were going with. This is why he wanted the highest thing there, and I feel like he could actually be a big part of like maybe the final arc as well. It's maybe that the theory doesn't happen about the whole Lucy theory, or not to mention about like everything that's happening down with like Natsu and Akanoya. What is one way they can get a big source of power without using the Theory Heart? Well, someone that has all the dragon lacrima. He could power up literally every single one of those dragons by doing something like that. What if he was able to use something like steel? Like he was able to get like the highest quality of like fire, gale. Like what happens when like all these dragon slayers absorb this and he actually gives them the power to actually help them strike back like against like all these people? Like we don't know. It still could possibly be a theory. And the whole Yuri Drea thing as well, like, I'm still not too certain that is him and all that. I mean, it can be shown there. I mean, that definitely would show he would be a very flashy character. But I think, like Hero is more obvious with a lot of the things. I mean, and that's the thing where you see as well. It's like, it's very simple to have, like, same character designs from other series as well. Like, it's very dominant. Look at, like, half of the characters in, like, Rave Master, like that. Musica is literally Grey and Gargiel just split. Like, that's literally the same character right there. So don't, like, so if you can see that, you might be able to see it. I mean, it's the same thing. A lot of, like, women in One Piece either look like Nami or Robin. It's there, you know, debatable with a lot of them, unless you have those really ugly ones, but it's like the same thing. So honestly, until we actually see like kind of what hair color he has and a lot more about the character actually, because I don't think he's just going to build on this character saying, yeah, he was just the #1 Ishgard god and we're just going to wipe him out right there. And not to mention as well, like, he did consider him, like, out of all of them, Acnologia did consider him a Dragon Slayer out of all of them, and he was like, yeah, I've got 7 more left to kill them, and I think honestly that's where like he made a fatal flaw. Maybe he got a little bit too cocky. Maybe he should have done an Igneel where he should have completely burnt him and destroyed him to the ground like he did with them. But honestly, I think that's just like Acting Logia wasn't thinking about. It's like, nah, that's him, done and over and with. But that's honestly a very weird thing to think, because obviously, like, as well, like, maybe he did lose some of his powers. If you guys don't remember, he actually had that giant pinwheel behind his back actually broken, and I'm guessing that's where the Lacrima is actually stored and all that, unless they're all inside of his body, which maybe I don't know too much about that, but I'm guessing with, like, all the little gems that we saw around there, I'm guessing that's probably where the Lacrima are, and that's how he powers up, and that's why he has that giant thing in there. Maybe that's something that, like a restraint or something like that to actually stop that his body doesn't break down. Who knows? There's a lot more that we talk. Honestly, it's just pretty much, I can't wait for the next chapter. That was an exciting ass chapter. I cannot wait. But honestly, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about Serena. What do you think of the whole Yuri Dray thing? Do you still think that's him? Not to mention, what do you think he is going to be a main part of this final arc? I mean, personally, I think those Lacrimas can be of very use and all that. Maybe we could have another Flame of Rabuke situation where he's going to give all the Dragon Slayers something. Maybe I could be possibly wrong. Maybe he does have the poison element in him and he could actually even power up like Cobra at the end. I still think all of the Dragon Slayers are still going to have a big situation, because obviously Acting Logia is going to be hunting them all, so who knows, he might have the poison element in him. We don't know. We'll honestly have to wait and see. But that's all from me, everyone, so thank you so much for watching. As always, look forward to next week when we talk about the chapter, the episodes, and not to mention as well, we'll have another discussion for you guys. But this was a little kind of a quick discussion for you guys. This actually came out last minute after that chapter. I did have something else for you guys, but I'll save that for next week unless another crazy chapter happens. But thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll catch you guys and you Fairy Tail fans next time.